My name is Serge Zimaleta. I'm 37 years old, and yes, I experienced success after buying my first home for cash. Back in 2011, I was broke, but I learned to solve problems on my own. Now, I'm helping others to solve their problems. I know what pitfalls to avoid to stay profitable in business. Need motivation to be more successful in your life? Do you have Sprinter, Expedite, or business problems? Then subscribe. Let's find creative solutions to your problems. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my helpful videos.
Hello, my fellow Expedite drivers. Welcome to another David Zimaleta. In today's video, I want to talk about this new scam that's going on. Well, it's not that new, but it's definitely apparent, and you should definitely watch out for it. I'm hearing more and more from drivers that they're kind of getting, scammed on the mileage. And some of the companies that's doing it is I really don't even know how to put it. I really don't want to make one group stand out amongst the other ones. But here's the thing, guys. It's important to always verify the mileage that they're giving you for the load before you accept it, because once you do accept it, whenever they're calling you up, they said such a load over there, we're paying such and such mileage, it's important to verify the mileage. Here's the situation that happened with one of my friends yesterday, and this happened to me before too, but I kind of forgot to make a video about it. But if it's happening to me, happening to him, and to other people that I heard from before, it's happening to probably to you as well. So here's what happened. Yesterday, one of my friends calls up and he gets a load from North Carolina to Toronto, Canada. First of all, it was a big snowstorm that was going on, and he has to drive in that mess. So anyways, he took a load for $1. He's got a brand new van and stuff. But here's what the company did. They gave him a load. They told him that it's going to be such and such mileage that they're going to pay him for. So he said okay, and he started going. Turns out the mileage that they gave him was 100 miles, less than what the actual load was. And he told them that, and they said, oh, well, you need to go such and such roads, So they routed this different way of going there. And okay, so he said, okay, so he started driving that way. And guess what? Those roads were taking him through all kinds of mountains, and where some speed limits over there, 25 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour. But that's not even the worst part. It's been snowed in. You cannot see the road. It is so narrow. There's no there's even no place to a curb, to pull over and stuff. And truckers or really nobody takes that route. Everybody takes the main route, and that gets cleaned and everything. And that one is just through the woods. Maybe it's for locals and stuff. But there is a way to kind of get through. It's going to be a huge pain. And he calls him up. He says, this is impossible. I can't go through here. He barely turned around to make it back. So anyways, got a call from my company right now because I'm on the way to pick up a load that is a round trip. That's besides the point. That's why I'm kind of trying to make this video while it's fresh on my mind. Just got off the phone with him and everything. So anyways, my friend makes it back to the highway barely because there wasn't even a way for him to get on. And his GPS, which is a Garmin, had a really hard time working there. And he had, phone connections, so it was still kind of tough. You could see the roads, but barely could, get back on the highway. So guys, here's what I think is going on. I think the companies that's bidding these loads, the brokers, they're not stupid. They know what the load actually requires as far as the mileage goes, and they give proper amount of mileage, for the, trucks and vans, to go, for the route with reasonable mileage, like the norm. And here's what happens. These companies, some of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, here's what they're doing is that they take their information that the broker gave, they won the load for a certain amount of dollars, and then they pull out their maps and they run the shortest route available, which is not going to be the quickest, it's going to be the shortest, and then they quote the driver those mileage. And I think that's dirty, because that route might be 100 miles less, but actually in time it was actually going to take him more time, because he looked it up according to GPS on the phone. It was going to be a little bit more mileage, but about the same time. But according to the directions that they gave him, it was gonna take him like pretty much an hour longer, I think, actually, with those mileage, because it's so slow, and it's impossible to go through these roads. So here's how to avoid this little scam, this little trap. If this is going to be annoying to you, and I'm gonna tell you my story in just a little bit of what happened to me. Here's how to avoid it, guys. There's a couple ways of doing it. First of all, not to fall into this little scam, is once the company is quoting you this mileage, go ahead and quickly route this using your Google Maps or iPhone Maps, whatever you guys have in there. Run it through and just see what's the map, you know, how it's going to take you, because you could quickly do it on the phone as soon as they send you the address. You know, I guess ask for that address and then compare the mileage to what they're offering to you. And if it's like, because sometimes they do zip code to zip code, if it's 20-mile difference, they already know this. I mean, whether they're stealing it or not, it's not a big deal. But a big deal comes up when it's 100 miles, because at $1 per mile, that's that's $100 loss. So that's just a little advice. Check it like that. And I'm gonna also tell you like another way of checking it a little bit after a while, like right after I tell you this next thing. So anyways, he calls the company up and he says this is impossible to go like that. And here's what happened. The dispatch girl that was working the shift, she said it was like a night shift for straight through load, like 800 miles straight through load. She says, okay, that's fine. Yeah, you could go that out of the way. And then supposedly she calls the broker up, which is completely fake. She's lying. She calls him back up and she says, okay, I talked to the broker. He okayed it. He's gonna pay you 100 miles more. Okay. So he's like, all right, great. You know, he's happy. So he makes it to the destination, delivers the load, talks to dispatch in the morning. Dispatch says, oh, that girl's new. No broker approved nothing. No, she's new. So basically she made a mistake. So they're not gonna give him this extra 100 miles. So it's like, how do they make up a story like that out of blue that she talked to broker about the mileage? And I said, listen, she didn't talk to no broker. She already had the mileage that the broker's paying, the actual mileage. And she was gonna try to maybe take a chunk out of their pay and, you know, go ahead and, you know, like not chunk out of their pay, it's his pay. She was gonna give him original mileage that the broker was probably offering. She okayed it. And of course, you know, they're still making their percentage, whatever that they're making, whatever per mile that they're bidding for. I don't know what they're bidding because it's kind of like classified. But the dispatch gets in the morning, like, we're not taking this $100 loss, because, you know, they want to make as much money as possible, because it is 100 extra mileage plus for every single mile, you know, there's whatever their fee is, you know, which is quite a lot in some cases. So here's the next thing I want to tell you really quickly before I tell my story is this is what you could do to verify these mileage. Call up another company that you trust when you get in these loads. Maybe you got a buddy of you that's bidding the loads and stuff, and say to him or her, or maybe you have access to those load boards. Ask them at the moment of when they're bidding the load for you. Go ahead and give them a call really quick, and it needs to be quick, and hopefully they're right. You know, they're okay. You know, to give you this information really quickly. Ask them how much is the broker, how many miles is the broker paying for that load. Who cares about the money? It's important for how many miles they're paying for the load. And then get back to your company. Say, how many miles are you paying me? So if they're paying you less mileage than the broker's actually paying immediately, that's a scam right there. So that's another way of doing it without you having to route. Or maybe you could put them on the spot and say like this. Maybe you don't want to, you know, like lose this load, and say, how many miles is the broker paying for this load? If they're saying to you, oh, they're paying such and such, you tell them, if they're basically, tell them, are you sure? Because I could verify this. I have a way to verify. Don't tell them you're gonna call a company, you're gonna call your friend. Tell them I have access to the load board. You know, I have access. You know, and if you're lying to me, you know, we're gonna have a problem. You know, I'm gonna know the truth. You know, so we can't work together if you're lying. Because guys, we are contractors. We could say no to those loads. We are not drivers. They can't force dispatch us to take loads that they undercut us again on and think that we're actually gonna do them. We don't have to do that. If they're lying to us, then they're in a breach of the contract. Maybe if you even accepted this load, say, listen, right after I accept this load, if you're lying to me, because I'm gonna find this out, then I'm not gonna take this load, and they're not gonna be able to cover it. Guess what? That is gonna go against their you know, their contract or whatever. So, you know, they need to be able to tell the truth, because, you know, like, what the heck? It's like, here they are comfortably sitting in their offices. They don't have to do nothing but bid the load. Sure, it takes some time, but that's what they do. They're sitting warm or nicely cooled with AC, but warm in the winter time, bidding the load, giving it to you with a lot less, you know, less mileage to drive, but to go to some kind of like a little town that you know, you cannot even get through like in a reasonable amount of time, and expect you to have your own van, whatever your van is, have a payment on the van, service the van, pay really, really expensive insurance for the van. If you're in Florida, chances are you're paying $10,000 per year for your insurance. If you're in New York, chances are you're paying $90,000. If you're somewhere like North Carolina, South Carolina, $7,500, you know, give or take. Insurances are super expensive. They're trucking insurances. So we are paying a really expensive price to be into this thing. Now, we also have to fuel our vans up. We need to actually drive the mileage. So it's costing us in fuel. It's costing us in our time to drive the actual distance. We have to lose sleep to actually get the load there. We have to miss our families by not being there with them for weeks at a time, sometimes months at a time if you're hustling. And they're just gonna try to rip you off like that. Like this is a big deal. They're gonna rip off you for every single load 100 miles. That adds up. So in the course of a month, if they rip you up like that 10 times, that's $1,000. Now imagine that they're doing it to 30 other drivers. That's $30,000 per month, and that really adds up towards the end of the year. That means, man, they're easily making between 300 and 360,000, give or take, extra, because they're stealing like that. And I consider this stealing. This is a breach of contract. If you guys bid in the loads, and if you know this is going down, let me know this in the comments below. If you think this is wrong or not, because guys, this has been going on for a long time with trucks. And like my dad's a truck driver, my uncles are truck drivers, and they've got like loads sometimes from some of these companies that they were going to like to these little Amish towns. And this is okay, like, I mean, I've been going a lot through the Amish towns myself, but guys, it gets really bad where the road ends. And for a semi truck, there's a gravel road up ahead. You cannot even get through it. You cannot even turn your truck around. I literally had my dad get stuck because that's the route that they gave him before the GPS and stuff like that. Because he was in the trucking business since 1996, driving a truck. And he says it would be like impossible to like turn around. Like sometimes they would have to get stuck, call a wreck route to get him out for $700. So these dispatchers sometimes they're just like money hungry and ripping you off like everywhere they can. I understand if they said zip code to zip code, trying to do that little game. I understand, that's fine, because you can't possibly run like, you know, like address to address, you know, and do it quickly. Because zip code to zip code plus mileage minus 20 miles, I mean, I'm not going to argue about that. But when it goes to like 50 miles, 60 miles, 80 miles, 100 miles, then there's a problem. So what happened to me, guys, is I started working with this one company. I'm going to not say their name. And immediately, the very first load I got, they ripped me off like 150 mileage wise. And I didn't know this until I actually routed the mileage through my GPS. And they were able to do that because the load was going from North Carolina to Minnesota, to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Quite a long trip. First of all, they asked me to drive for a little bit less. They asked me to go for like 85 cents. Typically, I was going for them like 85 to 90 cents. But because it's a long load, they wanted to make a little extra. They actually would rather that I go for even less than that. But guys, once I routed the mileage, I write everything down, guys. Every single load, all the mileage, whatever I get in GPS, the mileage on my speedometer, I write everything down before I even leave. So guys, I noticed this right away, and I called them up and I said, listen, this is what's going on. And they were trying to, they were trying to like make excuses. Here's what I told them. I already had evidence, because I called up a friend that actually has load boards, and I said to them, how much is this load? How much brokers paid for that load? And they told me the exact mileage. Guess what, guys? They were shorting me 150 miles, you know, because they wrote it, they did their own little map. And this is how I know this for a fact, because I verified. And I said, really? So is that what it is? Is that your final answer? And they're like, well, you know, like they're trying to like, they don't know like what I have. And I said, listen, I have access to load boards. Broker's paying X amount of, you know, mileage for this load. Do you still want to tell me that it's going to be less? Oh, let me check. I don't have access to it. Like, this is what I had on the paper. Oh, somebody wrote it down wrong. Like, you know, they had this whole line things going on scheme. Okay, we're going to talk in the morning to our dispatch because this is like a night thing. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. Don't worry. But guys, they tried to do that to me 3 times. Each time I caught him. Each time I verified him. After that, they were super nice to me all the time. They didn't lie to me anymore. Well, maybe they did. I just did not catch them. But the mileage at least were good. They were paying me on time, which was good. And you know, that's the way you have to do it sometimes. Because guys, it's really annoying that, you know, they try to rip us off like that. You know, if you agree with me, hit a like and write something in the comments below if this happened to you. Because I just want to let everybody know about this. Because here's also why. Because here's the thing. This company actually that just bid it, that my friend lost $100. They're completely denying the fact that they're gonna give him 100 mileage, even though he drove that extra, because they said, this is what they claim. Oh well, if you choose to go a certain way, that is your choice. We're not gonna pay you extra mileage. But he says, but she said that, you know, broker, you know, they call up and broker was gonna get more. She's new. She didn't say that. You know, like they just keep lying. So he's at a loss, and this is what he said, because he's not router like me. And guys, I stand up for my rights, guys. Seriously, I stand up for myself. I'm a nice guy, but if somebody's taking advantage of me, I'm gonna stand up for my rights. And so he told him, he says, okay, listen, it's just $100. I'm not gonna try to get into it with you guys because of that. I'm just gonna start verifying stuff now, blah blah blah. And I told him, I said, you should have done this and this and that. He says, well, it's just you know, 100 mile, you know, 100. You know, like I should have like verified and stuff like that, because he didn't. And that's when they get you. So I told him, listen, you know, I gotta make a video about this. This is ridiculous. What makes these companies think that they could keep doing it to drivers and get away with it? Now, I don't want to put any company on the spot and say who's doing it. All I could tell you guys, this is possible to do with many other companies. But, you know, you just gotta watch out for yourself, guys. And I think I gotta let the drivers know about this. Chances are this already happened to you. Chances are it could happen to you in the future. And it's better to be safer than sorry. Educate yourself. You know, check, verify. Like they say, trust, but verify. Very important. So anyways, on that note, guys, thanks for watching this video. God bless you. Stay safe. Take care of yourself, guys. Bye.